But building that trust between people, AI can't do that. The considerable amount of time I spend getting to know people. Yeah, I'm talking about getting to know people, things like people who've suffered, for example, tragedies in their life, right? And like being show empathy to those people, genuine empathy about what they've gone through, and sort of understand what people have gone through on their journey. That level of relationship you can't build through AI. And because of AI, there is a thirst for people out there who are human and who are very human centered in the way that they deal with people.
Hey, everybody, welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany Alexander, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I have an amazing guest for you today, and I'm so excited that you're hanging out with us for this recording. I want to tell you just a smidge about me. I love people. I love the power of networking, the power of getting to know people's stories, and I'm really sincerely interested in the way people tick and kind of what keeps them going. And I've become, just over the last few years, a little bit of a connector where I kind of associate people in my mind. I'm like, hey, there's somebody I think you should know. But also, by the way, do you know anybody that you think I should know? Like, it's totally fine to give you permission to do that. And what ended up happening is I've met some of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And this show has really been born because of that. And just knowing, hey, I want everybody to know all the neat people I've been getting to know, and a way to just kind of let my audience know about that. So with that, I'm excited to introduce you guys to Danny. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do me a favor, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you're up to right now, and a smidge about you.
Well, it's such a pleasure to be here. I run basically, I help businesses to grow through joint venture partnerships. And what that means is that my clients basically want to get more people buying their products by sort of advertising instead of having to have to do lots of networking, instead of having to do lots of hustling. You have lots and lots of people who basically come into your world, see what you do, and want to buy from you. And they're all warm because they come from people, from other people's audiences, other people's networks, who've recommended you to their buyers. So it's basically a way of attracting people who are really warm, and through basically attracting other people in your network who are really enthusiastic about what you do and want to promote you to their audience.
I love this. The best way that I could help somebody understand this is Danny's phenomenal at fast tracking you to be able to get to the exact people that you need to know, because he's taken a lifetime to get to know some incredible people, some high end people, some very specific categories of people. And whenever we got to know each other, he introduced me to someone that is like one of my close friends now at this point. So it's like, you just never know. He has like a perfect person for you. And every now and again, I'm like, Danny, we haven't talked in a hot second. Who do you need? Because I can keep an eye out for his clients. And then the same, he's always meeting incredible people that he knows at some point that they may want to get to know me. But importantly, if you are trying to do this very intentionally, you can hire Danny for him to do this, because he knows exactly really who it is that you need whenever you take and spend time with him. Which I did not know that this was a thing. Like, to be able to do something like this for someone who's like a high-end coach, they need to have like a very specific person who is like their ideal person to come and do their, them be able to be fulfilled with what it is that they're coaching. You're the perfect person for this, because you have some incredible people on your like Rolodex that I didn't know that this could be such a thing, which I look up to you for inventing this stuff up, which is actually what I want to talk to you about. I want to unveil your story. I want to tell everybody more about how you got to where you're at right now with your incredible business with JVing. Tell me, like, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? And did you think you were going to be doing this when you were growing up? Like, what'd you go to school for? I kind of want to hear it all.
So I'm from the UK. I've worked in marketing for over 25 years. The way I years For some years, I saw that other people's networks was a really good way to get clients. So go back 10, 11 years ago when we didn't have Zoom, but we had stuff like GoToMeeting. If any of you remember that GoToMeeting. But what I used to do is I used to co-host webinars with other experts, and what would happen is we would basically, there'd be a marketing expert who would bring his audience onto his master class, and I would bring my audience onto his masterclass, and he'd be teaching marketing strategy, and we'd be teaching how to get more people into your sales funnel. And what would happen is we would both benefit from each other's audiences coming into each other's ecosystems, and we'd both be attracting leads and sales. I am to this day, working with a client that came through that path 10 years ago. So
Wow,
that
that's incredible.
it is. Fast forward to the pandemic, and I decided to pivot completely to joint ventures. So I was doing marketing consultancy. I was helping people to build sales funnels. I was helping people to build social media campaigns. I decided in 2021 to focus purely on joint ventures, which is basically how to advise businesses to grow through using other people's networks. Between 2021 and 2023, I worked with Miracy, who at the time were one of the leading businesses in teaching entrepreneurs how to grow through online, how to build online courses. And I basically was head of partnerships and Miracy. Their whole ecosystem of growth came through basically having lots of JV partners who promoted what Miracy did to their network. And then 2023, I left Miracy and set up my own JV consultancy. And now that's what I do is I teach. I basically help. I also teach, but I also essentially have a done for you service where I help businesses to grow through joint ventures. And I do that through either partnering them with other businesses who basically will promote what they do. But I also can also be your own personal joint venture partner, and that you can hire me to basically tap into my network and personally introduce clients to you from my network.
Man, that's awesome. Now, I getting into just a tiny bit of connecting, I realize some people just have a knack for it. They have like I'm not sure, like the personality style, they have the ability to like retain people or leave people off with like, "Hey, let me help you out. I come here to hook you up," type of a thing. And some people have to go to school for this, and I don't even know if they're still very good at it. Is this something that you even thought you'd be doing? Like, did you go to school for anything like this?
Didn't get a score for it because this is not a taught skill; it's a soft skill. I
Yeah.
did notice. I have to say, I did go many years ago. I did go to networking meetings where I did constantly introduce. When I met interesting people, I would introduce them to other people in my network. And I did wonder to myself, I wonder if there is a way that I can monetize this, where I can introduce people to each other, and I can monetize this. I realized, yes, people do. What people have is people would love to get introduced directly to warm prospects. They don't want to advertise, they don't want to hustle. I don't really have the bandwidth to do lots of networking. But I didn't, there was no business model for it 10 years ago when I was doing this. Whereas now I have essentially a business in that I have such a large network of contacts that I'm able to basically connect businesses with the clients I want to work. But just to answer your question about skills, this is a soft skill, and it's something you've got to be able to do this. There's a few things you need to do. I think the first thing is you need to genuinely like people, as in,
Yeah.
right, because some people are kind of very transactional. They connect with people, just try and sort of use those people to get what they want. This is not a transactional type of relationship. In order for people to trust me to connect them to other people, I had to invest considerable time in getting to know people better, really asking people about like what motivated people to start a business, what their mission is, what problem they're looking to solve, what problem they're maybe experiencing they'd like to solve. And it takes time. It takes time. And also, you have to be a sort of person who genuinely, when I say like people, it means that you have to genuinely be willing to invest that time up front to really, really get to know people well. And also, the other thing it requires is having intuition, and not everybody has that. A certain level of intuition of identifying, who is
Yeah.
a fit for somebody else. Put them together.
Right. And
Um,
that's something, like you said, cannot be be taught really. I mean, you could, like you said, make it like
Correct.
okay, I need a guy who's this, like, yeah,
Yeah, having the ability to, genuinely enjoy connecting with people, getting to build deep relationships with people, you can't taught. You can't be taught that. There's something. It's a quality you have to have where you'll have to do that. The other thing to say is it's not something that AI can replace. So this is a very human.
yeah,
AI can help you to AI can sift through your network and identify opportunities, but building that trust between people, AI can't do that. The considerable amount of time I spend getting to know people. Yeah, and I'm talking about getting to know people, things like people who've suffered, for example, tragedies in their life, right? And like being show empathy to those people, genuine empathy about what they've gone through, and sort of understand what people have gone through on their journey. That level of relationship you can't build through AI, and because of AI, there is a thirst for people out there who are human and who are very human centered in the way that they deal with people. So people sometimes ask, how does AI affect your business? I say to people in a perverse way, it increases the demand for what I do, because the more AI, the more people, the more sort of fake messages people get from people on LinkedIn, on email. They see social media posts that are AI generated. They sort of, their eyes glaze over and they stop taking interest in anything. Right. So along comes a human being that starts communicating with you. And then imagine a level above that, that you're going to in-person events and you meet a human being who's communicating with you. That's a game changer.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. When people ask me, "Tiff, how's AI gonna affect you?" I'm like, "I am me. Everyone else is them. And
Yeah.
I believe I'm irreplaceable because an AI bot, a human, a recorder cannot do what I do when I show up one-on-one to a meeting with someone and show them with eyeball contact, true sincerity, leaning in, asking questions, not transactionally, like, okay, just cool, can you stop talking so that I can get my next word in? Like, I really wanna know what they're all about because I think that's when you get that intuition, a sense of like, and you know what's funny is sometimes it's like I've not just introduced people because business to business, like, "Hey, you guys should buy from each other." Sometimes I'm like, "Wow, you're in the same city? You guys should probably pop into some of the same networking events. You would benefit each other as friends at this point. Like, you guys have really cool interest in the same thing. You guys should know each other." And like you have to build up that trust with people that they are cool with me introducing them to someone blindly, that they're like, "Oh, it's from Tiff. She probably really had a good heart behind this, not like she's trying to get a commission out of this because
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
doesn't
We
happen."
should meet. We should meet. I mean, and the truth is, it doesn't matter if this is your business, right? But if you've invested in both people, people will
Yeah.
feel recommendation and will agree to talk to each other. Sincerity is something that's hard to, I think, is hard.
I think I agree with you on that because people are like, how do you get away with, like, not being so fake?" I'm like, actually I'm probably in trouble more for being more real because I can't hide. I have like a good face filter. I'm like, you can see that I'm being so real constantly with people, unless I'm like trying to hide my own emotions, right? From like showing up from a bad day, right? But man, this is so fun. Now, quite honestly, you're Rolodexing all these people in your brain and you know so much about so many people. You put in a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of work. Like, why do you keep showing up? Like, why do you keep doing what you do?
Firstly, we all are most successful at doing what we shine at. And my skill is people, is building relationships with people. Truth is, I only really discovered how good I was at this through the pandemic, because I realized in the pandemic how much I hated being isolated, not being stuck at home, not being able to meet with people in person. So I realized from that isolation that my zone of genius, and also where I shine and where I really get excited, is actually connecting to people and talking to people. I think about, for example, you have to be an extrovert to do this job. That's one thing. You can be very, very enthusiastic on the stage. When you're doing this all day long, you have to be an extrovert, because if you're not, it's bringing your energy to talk to people.
Right.
This
Yeah.
much, yeah. And so the reason I keep showing up is that I get to do something that I love, that is my zone of genius, and I get rewarded for it. So to me, it was a very kind of obvious area in which to work. Yeah, and
That's
I think
incredible.
think in fact, I wrote a post about this on my LinkedIn newsletter a couple of weeks ago. In that, people need to, when people are thinking about if you're thinking about what it is you want to offer your clients, you need to think about the intersection between where your zone of genius is, where you're very also where you feel passion, so it really comes out. It's also what people are willing to pay you for. You know,
Yeah.
so, if your skill is people and relationships, and it's also something you love doing, and people have a craving to work with someone who's genuinely got good connections to other people, and he can open doors for you, then yeah, that there's an intersection with three areas that fit perfectly together. And I think everyone needs to think, why is my skill set? What are the things that I excel at, that I love doing, and that people are willing to pay me?
Hmm. I I appreciate your description of all of that because some people think, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that Tiff, you're my last Zoom call for the day." I'm like, this is where I get to hang out with people when I choose to work from home instead of going to these live events. Like I have, like the difference between an introvert and extrovert is like an audience in a room full of people drains you versus like, man, this is like where I go to thrive, where I go to see the light in other people and being able to recognize that is important.
And introverts are both extroverts, and you could be an introvert who really likes people and enjoys talking to people. But generally, if you're an introvert, you'll find that the experience of interacting with people intensely is quite exhausting. You need some downtime from that.
Yes.
Someone who's an extrovert, that is their source of energy.
That is their source of energy. I'm like, "I'm so happy I got to hang out with 5 people today. This is
Probably
amazing.
the
Look."
difference probably the difference between most introverts, most extroverts is that most of both groups will, to a certain extent, enjoy being around people. But an extrovert, the difference is the extrovert actually gets their energy from it, right? So it's the more time they spend around people, the more energy they have, you know, doing it even more intensely.
Right. You know what else I like about identifying areas like this is when you can figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are, even sometimes your strength could be your own weakness. Like, Tiff, calm down. You've been to too many meetups. Don't stop going. You need to like go and zone in and focus on other things. But the stuff that we have that we lack or that we don't want to bring to the table or doesn't fill us with joy or is a drain, right? Hire out. If you're an introvert and you want to still thrive in your business, you can hire an extrovert to go bring
Yeah,
you more people.
in fact, there's somebody who does a lot of connecting, somebody called Michael Whitehouse. You might come across him. I think his tagline, or when he's on Zoom, there's a screen behind him that says "extrovert for hire." So yeah, yeah, and it's by the way, it works the other way. That there's a lot of office-based tasks. Like there might be lots of stuff you need to do, like there's research and reports and things like that, right? Which really drains your energy. Well, there are people you can hire to do that for you, which you should be hiring in all probability anyway. But that level of stuff doesn't need to be done by you. But I'm just using it as an example. A lot of desk-based, office-based stuff you can find something to do if you focus on where your zone of genius is.
This is fantastic. Now, at this point, people are thinking, "Wait, I wanna know you. What's your favorite way for people to come find you?"
Best way for people to find me is they can firstly connect to me on LinkedIn. There's only one Danny Bermant. There is no one else on the web of that name. Um, that's the first thing you can do. Secondly, is you can sign up to my LinkedIn newsletter. So you'll learn a lot about joint venture partnerships from that. Second thing you can do is go to my website, www.captainjv.co, and there's a JV readiness checklist there that you can sign up for. And sometimes the free gift will change, but if you go to captainjv.co, you'll be able to see our free gift and find out more information.
I love it. That's awesome. I appreciate you throwing a free gift on there for some people, or for anybody that goes and pops into there. And if you guys are wondering, wait, I don't just go into the show notes or go friend me. I'll get you hooked up with Danny because he's very generous with being able to see if he can help you, right? Like, let's find out if the puzzle pieces fit and it makes sense to go and say hi. And you guys get to add each other to your impressive Rolodex of people. And I appreciate just how incredible the people uh, are, like, in their business, in their heart, and who they are, and quite frankly, how high end of a human they are whenever I get introduced to someone from Danny. So that's like my vouch for him to let you know the incredible people that he associates himself with. Let me ask you, I only have time for 2 more questions. What would you say is next for you? Like, what's on the horizon?
For me, the horizon is always to widen my network. That's that for me. That's the key thing because um, in order to help my clients, they're constantly looking for new types of people that they need to speak to. There are people in different industries they need to connect to. There are people who have different expertise they need to connect to. So for me, my main responsibility is just to connect to more people. Probably my big activity from this year towards the fall. My intention is to start to travel to more in-person events because I've generally found that that has been the best way to build those deep connections. You know, you can meet great people on Zoom, but it does not compare to an event where you might spend 2, 3 days and there might be 20, 30 people in the room, and you build really deep connections with those 20, 30 people in the room. That will go much further than a week of.
Right,
And
right,
people are also more likely to, in my experience, people are more likely to work with you if they've met you in person. Again, it's that craving for human connection.
right. I think even more so, that's why I never have this fear of where are we going to go with AI? I'm like, oh, I hope AI does more of my bookkeeping and paperwork and stuff that I'm not good at, but it can't human more for me. So I'm in. I'm like all in on letting it help us and
Well,
grow.
it was, it, I, this was, you, the thing is, the human connection, building human relationships is the one skill that AI cannot replace. And that's why it's so imperative to get AI to automate all the other stuff so you can spend more time building relationships with people.
Yeah. And if people are trying to see it as like a downside, I'm like, if you're like, I'm worried what it can, no, let it give you scripting. Like if you're a wild introvert and you're like, I don't even know how to people, it can help you people. Like, hey, here's some flashcards for what you need to say. Like just asking people. One of my favorite things I love to show up and ask people, like especially in a live person event, I'm like, hi, I'm Tiffany. Who do you need to know? And they're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to ask me, what do I do? And you're supposed to tell me what you do. And all of a sudden you've jumped straight to like, hey, maybe I know somebody you need to know. Can I just give them to you? And they're like, where's the catch? I'm like, there isn't. Like, I just know a lot of people and I feel like they need to probably know you. Tell me more about you. Right. And they're like, oh my gosh, I love that so much just because it sort of throws them off guard. So some stuff like that you can human better with some AI. So don't look at the downside of AI. I'm always looking at the upside. But okay, I want to ask you what should we leave everybody with to end the show? Like what are your famous like nuggets of wisdom, some golden words to live by?
My main advice is to be more curious, right? What I mean by being more curious is don't just jump on a meeting with someone and be in a rush to get through all your questions to discuss how you're going to work together. Just slow down a bit and actually spend a bit more time being curious about the person. Who are you? What led you to start your business? What's your mission? You know, why does it excite you to do what you do? Right? Why? Spend more time asking why. Um, and so that for me is another example of being more human. And that'll really make you stand out from your competitors. That level of
Makes so much sense. That's such good advice. I'm so grateful that we got to hang out today. I'm so happy that, gosh, I think we've known each other like almost coming up on 2 years at this point because we got introduced by an amazing connector. And I am so grateful for your time. Thank you for coming. And I'm grateful for everybody who stayed and listened. I highly recommend that you share this episode with somebody that needs to hear or get to know Danny and go follow him on his LinkedIn and his website to get that freebie. And then I will see you guys on an episode coming up. In the meantime, everybody go have a great day. Bye.
all right.